Chapter 27, Section 4, continued. The Manhattan Project. A group of scientists had been working since 1942 to develop an atomic bomb. The knowledge of this came to the United States in 1933 with Albert Einstein. And then when World War II broke out, Einstein writes a letter to FDR warning him that German scientists had been researching this idea. And so now we're going to. Los Alamos, New Mexico, J. Robert Oppenheimer and his team are going to work on developing the atomic bomb. July 16th, 1945, at Alamogordo, New Mexico. Code name for the bomb was Trinity. You're going to have the first successful test of an atomic bomb. The temperature at ground zero was 100 million degrees Fahrenheit, 10,000 times hotter than the sun. All life within 1 mile of the blast was killed instantaneously. So now we have to decide how to end this war. We had been firebombing Japan constantly, but they were nowhere close to surrendering. Actually, they had been training every man, woman, and child to fight to the death. And so Truman has options before him on how to end this war. We could, number one, continue to firebomb. We could, number two, invade, like we had other places. Number three, we can offer a conditional surrender. Normally we offered unconditional surrender, but maybe if we allowed them something. Or number four, we could use the atomic bomb. As we all know, we chose option number four. We used the atomic bomb, and it was a popular decision. After the bomb was dropped, a survey of Americans showed that 85% of Americans supported the atomic bomb when we dropped it. July 26, 1945, you have the Potsdam Conference. The Allied leaders are going to meet at the Potsdam Conference. And they're going to demand the unconditional surrender of Japan. To which Japan says no. So on August 6th, 1945, 8:15 in the morning, the city was Hiroshima. The plane was the Enola Gay, commanded by Paul Tibbets. Aboard the plane was the bomb referred to as Little Boy. When they dropped this bomb over Hiroshima, as they bank and speed away, the co-pilot, as they look back at this mystery bomb that they dropped, the co-pilot writes in his journal, "My God, what have we done?" The damage was devastating. 60% of the city was flattened. 4 miles around the target point was completely flat. The wind beneath the blast was close to 1,000 miles an hour. The pressure was 8,600 pounds per square foot. The temperature, over 500,000 degrees Fahrenheit. You had around 80,000 people dead instantly. 37,000 severely injured. Thousands more will die from the effects of radiation. It happened so fast that people's shadows were even left behind. August 8th, the Soviet Union, as promised, declared war on Japan and moved into Manchuria to attack Japanese forces there. August 9th, 1945, the city was Nagasaki. The bomb, this time a different design, was Fat Man. Very similar results. Now you have people that talk about the loss of life during the atomic bombs, but we killed more people in our firebombing of Tokyo than we did in Hiroshima or in Nagasaki. But shortly after Nagasaki, Japan asks for peace. And we do grant them one condition. The Japanese emperor was allowed to keep his throne. The emperor was Hirohito. The Japanese people regarded Hirohito as a god. They didn't hear his voice, they didn't see him, he was a god. We're going to allow Hirohito to keep his throne. August 15th, 1945 was VJ Day, victory in Japan, and we made Hirohito announce the surrender to his people. September 2nd, 1945, the formal surrender is going to be signed aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay. And General MacArthur is going to arrange for a massive squadron of planes to fly over during the signing. Kind of a one little last jab there at Japan of, remember what we got left. Don't mess with us. We're going to look at some arguments against the use of the bomb and supports for the use of the bomb. You know, this is going to be something that people have debated over time of should we or shouldn't we. Arguments saying we shouldn't have dropped the bomb was it was a weapon of indiscriminate killing. We should have accepted a conditional surrender. We should have gone through with an invasion. Maybe we should have shown them what it did first. Maybe we just dropped the bomb to intimidate the Soviets. All of these are arguments against the use of the bomb. On the other hand, you have people saying, yes, this was the right move. This was an age of total warfare at this time. You know, it wasn't just military versus military, it was our country versus their country. Japan had no intention of surrendering. They didn't even surrender after Hiroshima. The invasion would have cost numerous lives. And there's no guarantee it would have ended the war. And as far as the demonstration goes, you can't risk a demonstration in the time of war. The war's over. Let's look at the results of this war. The effects of World War II are devastating. This is the worst war in history. Approximately 50 million people died, counting soldiers and civilians. Well, shoot, around 20 million of those were just from the Soviet Union themselves. Civilians suffered greatly as this war raged in the cities and in the countryside. In some German cities, almost 90% of the homes were uninhabitable after the war. There were a few Soviet cities that had to be completely rebuilt. Hitler's attempt to exterminate the Jews becomes more widely known. Hitler had 10 million people killed in the camps. Approximately 6 million of those were Jews. Money-wise, this is going to cost around $1 trillion. There are some comparisons to what other wars have cost if you put all of it in like 2005 dollars. And the last thing we're going to look at is 8 results of World War II. Number 1, the United Nations is going to be established, which we'll talk more about at a later time. Number 2, Great Britain, France, Germany, all were world powers in 1939. After 1945, they are all knocked down in importance. Number 3, us and the Soviet Union emerge as superpowers. 4, Germany, Italy, Japan are all stripped of the lands that they took before and during this war. Number 5, Great Britain, France, US, Soviet Union, we all hold military occupation zones in Germany, as we agreed to at Yalta. Number 6, the Soviet Union is going to dominate other Eastern European countries, as Churchill had warned. Number 7, we occupy Japan until 1952. And number 8, the beginning of the nuclear age.